I don't know about you. I'm like completely overwhelmed by what's on social. Like there's too much.
Yeah. Even the news. I'm like setting a limit with myself watching the news and on social media. Well, if we're being honest, I really just look up recipes and stuff anyway. I don't really like look up relevant things. I kind of waste my own time.
I don't think.
I was watching brownie recipes for like 2 hours this morning and then realized that was
Wow.
2 hours long.
Did you settle on one or a few?
Yeah, there was one where you can like make cookie dough without raw eggs and like put it on top. I was thinking I'm self-isolating from my family right now and I have 7 more days and then I get to
Mm-hmm.
see my sister. She lives like a few miles away. I was thinking that was going to be our big treat once we can hang out.
Mm-hmm. And talk about why you're self-isolated right now.
Yeah, so I took it very seriously when I got home. Just being in Japan and then being in airports, even though I just got back and I'm staying with my parents right now, like, I don't know, my parents are a little older. I think it's very scary if I were to carry this virus and get them sick. So we were really careful. Like when my mom picked me up from the airport, I had a mask on. She stayed up front. I sat in the back. She didn't help me with my bags or anything, just in case like touching something. I've only been using my bathroom in my room. Haven't really been around them. Now it's day 7, so like we're kind of blurring the lines a little bit because I feel fine and everything, but I'm still not seeing anyone outside of the house. Like my sister, we made her pizza yesterday and I left it on the back porch for her to come pick up. And we were like, sorry, can't come inside.
Did you wave to her at least?
Yeah, we were talking to the glass. And honestly, they say that pets can't carry it, but like, I feel like that's not true because my cat will come and like rub all over me and then go nestle into my mom. And I just feel like that was already done if it
Yeah, I
happened.
know. That's where the transfer happens.
Yeah. He seems to be fine though. So I think
Yeah.
we're good.
Um, do you feel, I mean, I know you came back from Japan like a week ago, but what's the vibe over there compared to here?
I would say the vibe over there is different. Being in Asia, it hit Japan quicker. I don't know if you remember the Diamond Princess cruise ship. It was
Mm-hmm.
parked or docked there, and everyone was kind of like hating on Japan for not knowing what to do with that whole situation, but they were trying to like figure out what to do and shut the whole country down. Versus, I mean, I'm not really in American government, so I can't speak on issues that our government does, but I feel like we waited a little longer over here. Japan got ahead of it way quicker. So like, yeah, the virus is still progressing. I still check the tracker all the time and it's still going up, but much slower. And kind of like the overall vibe of the culture in general is to like help one another and not be selfish in the first place versus like we were watching the media over there about Americans rushing and like grabbing everything for themselves versus Japan is more like we're all in this together, let's help one another. So the vibe was very different,
Mm-hmm.
at least looking on media speaking.
Yeah.
It was weird being in Japan while America was freaking out. There was no insane freak out that really happened in Japan. Everything just kind of shut down and people understood and did their part,
Yeah.
if that
But
makes sense.
yeah, but do you think that's because they have more experience with it?
I think in general, they live in close proximity anyway. So they're used to being a little more conscious of one another
Mm-hmm.
um, versus, I think, like, I don't know, living in 2 different, completely different cultures. America is kind of just a little more selfish culture.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but Japan, hey, sorry, doing a video. I think my dad wanted to heat up his coffee. But Japan just kind of, like they didn't have to be told to shut down restaurants and stuff. They just did it because they knew it was like the smart thing to do and they didn't want to get
Right.
infected. Versus we're over here like complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I was like having that a similar thought this morning between I feel like Americans are very autonomous versus the Japanese culture, which is like way more loyal, which means like their decision making is based on the group as a whole versus
Yeah.
I mean, I was raised to be autonomous, like, you get what you put into it.
Yeah.
No one's going to do it for you. So like all of these kind of ideals, which are good and bad, like nobody's wrong in how they approach life, but it definitely in this particular situation can cause problems because the whole system is not working efficiently, and then some people who are really in need um, get the short end of the stick, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You can also in a way tie that into being like a female athlete. I think a lot of times like being strong or bold and having a voice in her opinion is
Yeah.
quote unquote like a bad thing, or wow, she has an attitude, or wow, she's this, she's that. When like I grew up trying to like grab what's mine, go after what's mine, take ownership, you know what I mean? Like take pride and all that, but it can be seen as like good and bad too. Same
Mhm.
thing.
I think we value like all of those things, but it has like caps on it. Like you can't be
Yes.
too much of these things. You have to be like all here,
Yeah.
and you can't be too loud. You can't be too opinionated. You can't be too smart. Like, or else like if you're the person who's constantly like raising their hand, it's like, oh, she's annoying.
Yeah.
And it's like we we need to check ourselves in that
Yeah.
regard, because we don't need to stifle our ability to question, especially when it sparks our own curiosity or we simply don't understand what's going on.
Very true. Also, more often than not, the best things about ourselves is usually the worst thing about ourselves. Like, I would say my best qualities, like my most attractive, whatever qualities, are also like my downfall.
Like
In
what?
the extremes, just being kind of an aggressive, bold personality. It's great at times, then other times it's like, you just take a step back, like,
I
or it
think
went
I
too
think
far, you
I
know?
yeah, I think it all could be celebrated, to be honest with you, and not one way is the right way. Like
Yeah, very true.
I've learned this about myself. I'm a very um I'm slightly on the introverted side, but I'm also a low toner, which means that like my voice does not carry. But for some reason, I surround myself with people who are so loud. Like they live life loud, they talk loud.
Yeah,
Like I for the life of me, uh, I mean, I just think it's like really interesting that that's the combo that's in place.
yeah,
But when I do decide to speak, it's like very meaningful, or it's like a funny one-liner because I've just been sitting
yeah.
back, like, and observing. And have you kind of noticed that in yourself and the people that you surround yourself with?
I would say just being a Japanese culture, I'll like whisper in the huddle and 20 people hear me. And like being a theater major, and like
Yeah.
I was always into that type of stuff. So I like can project and be expressionistic very easily. I don't have to say many words for you to know how I feel, which is a great thing and a bad thing. Like,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, like I would say my sister is the complete opposite of me, even though like we
Hmm.
grew up in the same household, and she's still very bold in some things that she does, but very like quiet and always kind of in the back seat. But when she speaks up, it like means something, and then I kind of like am just talk over her a lot. Yeah, I don't mean to. It's just kind of like the dynamic.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's you
Yeah,
being you, and that's
yeah.
we don't need to apologize for it. Do you feel like because you have that kind of presence and personality, when you went to Japan and you went to Team Denzo, was that something that made the rest of the team kind of step back, or do you feel like it was a pretty easy adjustment for everybody?
All right. Totally. There's been good and bad. So
Okay.
so my little best friend on the team is second baseman. She's the second baseman for the national team in Japan, and she always calls me crazy happy girl.
Hmm.
And she asks me every day if today I'm gonna be crazy happy girl. And like most days I'm crazy happy girl. But then, I'll have once a month where like, you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Like, geez, I'm in Japan. I would just love like a burrito, but that's not possible. Like, there's just some days it all hits you. And like, I don't have to say a word when I show up to practice and I'm just like not having it today. And she'll come up to me and ask me if I could please be a crazy happy girl for her and like not be they do angry. Like today, angry, why? I'm like, no, I'm just sleepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they love like the expressionistic, like on the field, being fired up and stuff like that. But it also, there was one time last season, I still remember it. We had gone like 3 or 4 games in a row. We were just in a rut, like couldn't even get on base. And they don't respond the same as Americans do, is like getting fired up. So like in the huddle, I just like really wanted to like fire them up. And I have never done that before. And Chi-Chi, my translator, I was like, Chi-Chi, look, come here. And like, she like tried to say what I just said. And they were all just looking at me like, and I think like one of them wanted to cry. And I was like, wow, like that just really didn't translate how
Mm-hmm.
I imagined in my head. And Kelly
Yeah.
Crutchman was my American teacher last year. She was just dying laughing. Like, yeah, they don't know what to do with all that.
Oh, wow.
So that's been interesting. It's been good for the most part.
Yeah. Do you feel like that happens? It's like emotions get lost in translation.
Oh, absolutely. They also like, not like they don't have emotions, but their culture is just different. Like they could be dead tired and still show up to practice every day the same, just plugging along. They never really get too high or too low.
Mm-hmm.
So they think that I'm like crazy. And I'm just like, man, like I used to be, I've really worked on it. Like you should have seen me like 10 years ago. So it's really fun for me at least. And
So
I need that consistency
how are
around
you?
me. So
How were you 10 years ago?
it's always been I don't know, just like super high and super low, emotional type player in all sports. Like I said, really good and really bad. Um, so just, especially being a pitcher, that's like kind of a terrible thing to be. So just always kind of focused on trying to find a happy medium, and not get too low, not get too high. That's been my personal struggle, at least. Once I figure it out, I will write a book on it and let you know. But
All right. I'll be waiting.
still an ongoing process.
Was there, did you always know that was part of you, or was that something, was there like a particular moment when you're like, I gotta make a change in what you were doing and how you were processing?
Yeah, I've always been aware of it. Like just being, I just feel like growing up too on teams, I was the type of player when like when I was having a great day, everyone was having a great day, and then when I was having a bad day, it affected everyone around me. And when I finally like looked up and realized that, like I said, it could be like a blessing and a curse that you have that much influence, just based on personality, but also like I took a lot of like blame and felt really heavy when my team didn't do well because I thought it was all on me, for like not showing up that day. So just trying to figure that out. Really, I think I got better at it in high school times, maybe. Like I said, still a process, but yeah, definitely a good and bad thing.
Mhm. When you find yourself getting too low, what what do you do?
Um, I know this sounds so bizarre. I still think of, okay, LSU, we had the shuttle test, which if you ever interview any of us or talk to any of us, it's not fun times. Kelsey Kloss, one of the most selfless people that I've ever played with. It would blow my mind because the whole shuttle test, she would be cheering on other people. And I would be like, wow, if I cheered on anyone during my 35 seconds of rest, I couldn't run my next shuttle. You know what I mean? So finally, one time I like tried it too and realized how much easier the shuttle was when I took the focus off myself. So I still think about that. Like whenever I'm bad, I really just like try to focus on someone else and really lift them up, or, that whole concept makes it easier for me to get through the bad
Mhm.
day.
It sounds like and we all deal with it. It's just we get in our heads so
Yeah.
much that like we get trapped.
Yeah, especially with pitching. Jeez. I don't know why I'm a pitcher. Well, I can't do anything else. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I couldn't do what you do. I did it when I was like 10, but then I stopped growing, so.
When I was 10, I was like in the outfield looking for four-leaf clovers and
Yeah.
realized that I had to touch the ball every play or else the sport wasn't for me.
You started your college career at Stanford, which I feel like a
Yes.
lot of people don't remember. But I wanted to ask you about what were like the deciding factors when it came to you transferring, and just take me through that.
Okay. Well, that was a really long process. First, I just want to start with I grew up playing volleyball with my mom being a volleyball coach in college, and Stanford was my hands down dream school for volleyball. So when that I was like recruited in volleyball, but not nearly as heavily in softball. So like when that opportunity came about, it was like locked in, like
Sounds
blinders,
like a
no other
dream.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah, here I am, Stanford, whatever, just gotta make straight A's. So it was never an option to leave. I literally didn't even think about the option until Stanford's in quarters, so it goes a little longer into the summer. Until I left for summer, like I put my stuff up in a mobile storage unit. Like I didn't bring everything home. I had to have one of my friends go and get my stuff out of the storage next year. But it was a really like icky situation with everything that went down on top of me. I like broke my rib that year, so I was medically redshirt, and I was just in a terrible place mentally and personally because I've never been sidelined before. So I like hated myself, and when you hate yourself, you kind of hate your surroundings, and hated the choices I was making and the person that I was at that time, and then add on all the other mess that happened.
Yeah.
And then it was like, honestly, the team was kind of split in half. Like it was like these people went this way, these people went that way, and I didn't want to be on a team of people when we didn't have the same goal. There was other more selfish intense involved, and I was like, my main goal is winning a national championship. Like I just wanted to get to the World Series and win it, and half the people on that team had no interest in that. So I was like, when I got home, I like kind of lost my edge a little bit, and I was like, I need to be around people with that same fire because that's not who was around me there. And LSU was actually like my first choice other than Stanford in the whole recruiting process. When Coach G was there back in the day, she took me to a
Yeah.
football game, and it reminded me of Clemson. So growing up in Clemson, I was like, "Ooh, I could get used to this. Like this is a great
Right.
day." And then I thought LSU was my best chance of winning. I really like the team vibes and the strength and presence that the team had, and I thought we would have a great time. So competing, that's what I was
Yeah.
looking for.
Were you scared that you
Yeah, it
weren't?
all happened in like a week. And then I
Yeah.
was like, wow, I worked for 4 years to get into this school, and then was like, I guess I'm a Tiger now.
Well, I imagine like the scariest part is like, am I making the right decision? Or am I just, especially there's just so many unknowns.
Yeah,
It's like you're going with your gut and it like,
yeah, completely. It happened in literally a week, and then I was like, wow, I going to a new school in a few weeks. Like I
yeah,
don't
and your
know
life is
anyone.
going to completely change.
On top of I hadn't pitched in a year, so I sucked. I still remember my first bullpen with Coach Trina. I was just kind of like doing, like some like whatever, like T drill, whatever. And I was like, Coach, I don't even know like how I want to do a windup. I hadn't like pitched in a while. I know I can throw hard, and other than that, I don't really have much.
What was her reaction?
We just kind of started from scratch. I think hopefully she saw the potential. That was a while ago now, but we tried to figure out like what would work best. We had a lot of work to do that first fall. Not just me learning how to pitch again, but then learning what she wanted me to do, and like, how LSU did things, and redo everything all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. Hopefully she might say the same.
How would you compare training in the U.S. compared to Japan?
Oh, like workouts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just different. They just have a different philosophy. They also have different body types. So like they aren't nearly as like big and strong as some people over here are, but like they're super quick, super disciplined. They just kind of work on like maintaining strength and always getting faster, speed wise and stuff like that, and staying fit, staying lean. Versus I think in America we work on like straight getting like swole sometimes, and
Yeah.
you know, gaining strength. So I'll work out with my Japanese trainer a few times a week when he comes in, and it's really fun because we like do different stuff. But like whenever I do something and I'm like kind of stronger than they are, he's like, "Whoa!" So I really like those movements, and I'll like ask to do them again. But it's fun. It's a lot. Like we're warming up 4 hours before a game, and I do a whole workout, like agility workout for about an hour and a half. My first game, I did it all, and I was like, "Geez, like I gotta pitch in 2.5 hours."
Do you remember when you first traveled to Japan and what that experience was like?
Yes, I actually first traveled to Japan with Team USA, and I knew in the back of my head, okay, I was trying so hard to be open to Japan because I knew that I wanted to play pro over there in
Mhm.
like a year or two. So I was telling myself, like, I'm gonna force myself to love this place because I'm gonna live. I want to live here, and thankfully, it wasn't. I was expecting the worst, and it was actually great. I really, really liked Japan. Different Asian culture is very different, but I'm glad that I like it and had that plan going in because I'm there now and hopefully there for as many years as they want me. Um, just I think it makes me a better human because they're all really nice and like they do for others and put others before themselves and super generous and um, just a really nice culture. And I feel like a lot more quiet and like at peace over there. And America's kind of hectic.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
what are some of the things you mentioned how nice the people are and the attitude of giving versus taking. What are some of the other things that you really like about the culture that like you see yourself kind of incorporating into your daily life?
I would say overall, even though I'm like kind of loud, just overall like being quieter and more respectful of those around you. Like on a train, you would never be on FaceTime talking loud, something like that. They
Hmm.
don't eat in public. I really like as soon as I walk into anywhere, they're like, "Ooh, like big, big American, like let's help her," and like immediately try to show me like something in English, like clearly I'm not from there, so everyone's
Hmm.
always trying to help me out. I guess just the respect thing, like literally when we walk onto a new field, we bow, we take care of all of our equipment, we give thanks to the field before and after we play. It just gives you a greater appreciation, like, man, this is my job, like
Hmm.
I literally get paid to play a game. Like, how great is this? And it makes you like just appreciate it more.
That's great. What food is like your jam over there?
Okay. There's a few. Yakiniku is basically like I guess we would call it Korean barbecue. You like cook meat in front of you. Oh, my teammates do me so dirty. First time we were over there or at a yakiniku place, it was all in Japanese, and I was like, "Ooh, I like this meat," and they like kept giving it to me, and it's like all you can eat for 90 minutes. I'm just killing this like circle meat, and I finally asked what it is, and they're like, "Cow time," and I was like, "What?" Like, and I was like, "Oh no, you're joking," and they're like, "Tongue," and I was like, "Okay, I'm good off that. Like, I don't think I want that anymore." Um,
Oh, did it taste good?
yeah, yeah, but I know what it is. I don't want to eat it again.
Aw.
Um, Everyone always asks me if the sushi's good. It's good. The main difference is like the sushi over here, I would say that like double or triple the meat, and that's the amount of meat you get in the sushi over there. And I think that's what really makes it. Um, and then they do like chicken on a stick in like the family marts. A lot of people, it's almost like a convenience store for food. Um, I eat that a lot.
Mhm. I
That's my
mean,
go-to.
yeah. I mean, we can talk about so many of great, great food on a stick.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Japan does it well. So
Yeah, and I love a corn dog. It's on
yeah,
a stick.
my sister really likes corn dogs too.
Yeah, they're great. um, talk about. Have you been doing any reading during this time? A lot of people I've been talking to have been reading or listening to music.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my favorite genre is like a teen romance sci-fi. So I don't
Why
even
is
know what
that?
series.
Why is that?
I
Why
feel
is
like
that
that's
unfortunate?
embarrassing. Like I've read this similar type book since I was like 12.
Look,
um,
there's something always enticing about a coming of age story, and you
yeah,
add some sci-fi to
yeah.
it. That sounds like gold
Um,
to me.
I just I actually don't even know what the series is called on my Kindle, but I'm on book 3 of a very generic romance teen sci-fi. You know Annie Aldretti.
Yeah.
We spent some time in Italy together 2 summers ago now. She got me on Yogananda, which is like basically this dude that used to like go around and talk about the meaning of life and like really makes you dig deep on some thoughts. And someone would go around with him and basically record what he says. So it's like all these books of his teachings. So
Mhm.
those have been cool. They're only like a few pages each. Little story you want to dive into. Makes you think about some stuff.
Yeah.
And then I
Very
restarted
cool.
Gossip Girl, and that's about that's about it on the media side of things.
The show.
Yeah, I'm on season 3 in a
Okay.
week, so that's
It's really
depressing, but
easy just
yeah,
to put that on, though.
yeah. And watching it like the 6th time through, I'm really picking up on things I've missed before that are really funny.
There has to be some kind of Gossip Girl podcast where
Yeah,
you can meet your people.
yeah. I've been a huge fan since day one. So, and my sister's actually rewatching it too. So we'll just like randomly text each other in the middle of the night, like, "Oh my God, Chuck Bass,"
What
and
about
she's
Chuck
like, "Yeah."
Bass?
He's just a underrated character. I forgot how
Mhm.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
didn't do anything after that, right?
You know what? He's British. Did you know that?
Oh wait, he did a show, I think on Netflix. I
Uh,
didn't watch it. It came out like I think last year or something.
he was also a singer. I knew that because
Oh
I
wow.
stalked him like 10 years ago.
Dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. Really adds to his whole demeanor.
Yeah, so what are you doing with your theater degree?
Ah, it's a great question. I'm playing in Japan.
Well,
um,
why theater? I know
okay,
you said that
so
you talked about the whole film thing, but go on. You tell the story.
okay, so initially when I was at Stanford, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. In your freshman year, you take like generic classes anyways. So then I transferred to LSU and was kind of all, you know how like most schools, all athletes are kind of like one of these few majors. I like tried one or two of them and was like, wow, I feel like I'm in high school all over again, like just the same type of work. It
Yeah.
wasn't interesting to me and I was like over it. And I really enjoy film. Like I've always kind of had the idea that like later in life I could be like an announcer or something along those lines. And I thought what better way than to like learn behind the scenes, behind the camera, in front of the camera, all that stuff. So LSU didn't have a film degree at the time, so I did theater. We did a lot. It was I was the only athlete in theater, so I had my own little separate uh, friend group. They didn't really understand athletics, but it was really cool to like get away from that side and to
Yeah.
talk with other people. So I did a lot of film classes and there was only like maybe 20, 30 of us. So we had like the same professor and the same students all throughout all these different types of film classes and learned the ins and outs of like a camera editing program, stuff like that.
Joining me on this call. I don't have any more
Yeah, thanks for
questions.
having me.
Yeah, this was fun and totally random.
Yeah, yeah, I don't,
I don't know what you're looking for, but
No,
sorry.
no, I wasn't looking for anything. I was just looking for a cool conversation.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
hope
and
you find some way to stay busy today and the rest of the few weeks.
yeah, I don't think I'll have any issues with that.